Let's talk about mobility. Now, as we age, our mobility naturally decreases, and our body does actually show us signs that it's actually decreasing, but they can be so subtle that we tend to ignore them on a day-to-day basis, and before we know it, we're actually struggling to do everyday things, such as reaching up to the top shaft just might be a little bit harder on our shoulders, getting up off the floor might be a little bit more difficult with our knees and our hips, and we always put it down to age, but there are things that you can do to help with your mobility, to help you live a longer and happier life and be a little bit more active and not hurt so much. In today's video, I want to show 7 signs that you might be losing mobility so that you can start making changes before it gets any worse. If you don't know me, my name is Rachel. I'm a fitness and wellbeing enthusiast. I'm also a qualified fitness instructor, dance teacher and menopause coach, and I like to share my information and my experience that I have gained over the years, and I also like to give you some 10-minute workouts that you can do at home. And in today's video, I want to talk about mobility. Now, mobility and flexibility are 2 very different things. Now, flexibility is all about stretching our muscles, and it is good to be flexible and it's good to have that flexibility as we age as well. But mobility is more about the joints and how they move more easily and how they can give you a better life. But mobility is about using your joints with their full range of movement to give you better control and strength. So basically, mobility can give you much more freedom, especially as we age. So what are the 7 signs that your body is telling you that you are losing mobility? Now, the first one is the noises you make when you get up off the floor or you just get up off a chair. If you feel that you've got to really push or hold on to something and you have to give yourself momentum to get off a chair or get off the floor, and you use some noises and creaks as you do so, you might be losing your mobility in your hips, your knees and your ankles. So one thing you can do to test this is to sit down on a chair and stand back up without using your hands. If you find it easy, great, you've got good mobility. If you find that a struggle, it's definitely something you need to work on. And by keep repeating, sitting on a chair and standing up without using your hands is actually going to build strength and build better mobility. Number 2 is that you feel that you actually can't sit on the floor comfortably. And many adults avoid sitting on the floor completely because they feel they can't get back up again, or they just can't get in a comfortable position. And for some people, even getting down onto the floor is a massive struggle. And if you feel that way, you could be having trouble with your knees, your ankles and your hips, as well as your core strength, so your abdomen and your lower back. You could be having problems with that and not have a full range of movement in those particular joints. If you feel that you struggle to get down on the floor or get back up off the floor, your body is telling you that you have some mobility issues that you need to start working on. Sign number 3 is if you feel that you struggle to turn your head to look behind you. So let's just say you're in a car and you're reversing and you find it hard to look behind you to see where you're going because it hurts your neck, then that could also be a sign that you are losing mobility in your neck muscles. So that is also a sign that you have limited movement in your neck and your upper back. And if you feel that way, you could be struggling to drive, struggling with your posture, and you may even get some headaches because you've got no mobility and no strength in your neck and upper back. If you feel that way, then working on your neck muscles and your upper back is going to help you, and keeping your posture as well is also going to help you gain that mobility and that strength in your neck and your upper back. Number 4, if you feel that reaching up to get something or put something away is a big chore for you and it hurts, you could be losing mobility in your shoulder joints. So if you feel that you have trouble reaching for something on the top shelf, putting luggage away, or even just putting on a hoodie or a jumper actually hurts your shoulders and you feel you've got less movement, you could suffer with mobility problems in your shoulders. And this can happen not just as we age, but if we have a desk job and we are constantly hunched over a desk most of the day, that's going to have a massive effect on your shoulders as well as your upper back and your neck. So it all kind of connects. So if you have a desk job and you find it hard to reach up, or you find it hard to put things away, or even put a jumper on, you could be losing mobility in your shoulders. Number 5, a lot of people don't even notice this because it's just an everyday thing that most people do. And that is when you're walking, your strides actually are getting shorter and they're not the regular length that they are. So obviously our stride is all different for everybody because we're different heights and everything. But if you feel that your walking stride is actually getting shorter each time, that could be a sign that you are losing mobility. And by this, I mean your steps become shorter, your walk becomes slower, your arm swings become less, and you just feel in general it's just a little bit harder for you to walk. And walking shouldn't feel that hard. It should feel quite easy for everybody to do. So if you feel that walking is quite a chore for you and very difficult for you, and you've got no other medical issues, it could be a sign that mobility is something that needs to be worked on. Sign number 6, if you are losing balance more than normal. Now, I understand if some people can just be clumsy and just lose balance in general, especially if you have some kind of ADHD or autism, some of those signs can be clumsiness as well. So apart from that, if you feel that you are becoming more clumsy, it could be a sign of mobility. Now, balance isn't all about our ears. It's also about our hip strength, our core strength, our ankle mobility, and our coordination as well. So if you feel that you are just a little bit more clumsy, that you're falling over a little bit more, then maybe you need to work especially on your core strength, and you need to work on your mobility a bit more so that life just becomes a little bit easier. And sign at number 7 is that you feel stiff after sitting down for a long period of time. Now, we all generally, if we sit down for too long, it's a little bit of a hassle getting up. But if you sit down and it's really hard for you to get back up and get moving again, and you generally just feel really, really stiff, that is also the 7th sign that you could be losing mobility. So many people may get up from the sofa after sitting for a long period of time and will actually need a minute just to stand there before you actually start walking, because your muscles and your joints are so stiff. And many people think that is just general aging, and it is. That naturally happens as we age, but it's also the fact that you have not been doing any movement for a while. So think of it this way, that movement is like oil for our joints. If we don't continually move, then we're not getting the oil to our joints to actually keep them going, and then we start needing repairs and we start feeling a little bit harder to do general life and normal things that we usually just take for granted. So moving and doing other activities is actually going to help with your mobility and your strength. And finally, a bonus one, if you just generally avoid certain movements, such as kneeling down on the floor, climbing hills, dancing around with your grandchildren, or even just getting down on the floor and playing with children or grandchildren, is something that you avoid doing, or you have to sit on a chair rather than sit on the floor, could show signs that mobility and your joints need a little bit more work. So what can we do about it? It's easy for me to say the 7 signs of what actually is happening, but what's the answer? How can we actually improve our mobility if any of those are starting to ring alarm bells to you? Now, mobility can improve, and it doesn't mean that you have to do hours and hours of stretching and everything else. I mean, you can if you want to, but you don't necessarily have to. You just have to make simple changes and start creating small habits to start improving your mobility. So here are 5 ways that you can improve your mobility, which you can start today. It's not going to cost you anything, and they're really easy to do. So number 1 is to walk every single day. Even if you are only walking 10 to 20 minutes, you're going to the shop, or you're just going around to the court, or you're just walking around your local area, just walk every single day will actually help with your mobility and your joints. And like I said, any kind of movement is like oil to our joints. Number 2 is strength training. Strength training is so important as we age, predominantly for women going through the perimenopause, but also for men as well. It's going to keep our joints, our muscles, and our bones nice and healthy. So if you don't have access to a gym, or you can't afford a gym, you can get some dumbbells and you can work out at home. I've got plenty of 10-minute workouts on my channel that you can watch, all to do with strength training. They're not hard to do, but just doing 10 minutes a day of strength training, if you're a complete beginner, is going to start helping with your mobility. Number 3 is stretching. Now, I just said you don't have to do hours and hours of stretching, and you really don't. But after you've done any kind of exercise, it's important that you do stretch, and not just stretch the muscles that you've been using, but stretch the entire body, just to help with your muscles and just to help stretch them, but also to help with mobility as well. You don't have to do hours and hours. You don't have to do any intense yoga on YouTube. Just do some very basic stretches just to help you loosen up your muscles and work on your mobility. And in the coming future, I will do a video on stretching, and I'll do a video on mobility, so that you can do those mini workouts as well. That's going to help you improve your mobility if you feel you're struggling. Number 4 is to change positions more often when you're just sat on the sofa. Now, we all love a movie night, don't we? We all love to sit down and watch TV, and we get in our comfortable position and we don't want to move. But if you're going to be there all day, if you're going to do a marathon session, you're going to be there for a long period of time, making sure that you get up or that you change positions every 20 to 30 minutes just helps loosen up those muscles and loosen up those joints a little bit more. So if you are going to be sitting for a long period of time, say that you're going to be sat on an airplane for a long period of time, getting up every 20 to 30 minutes, just walking down the aisle and back, it's just going to help with your mobility, help with your joints, and just help with your muscles in general. And finally, number 5 is to make sure that you are continually moving and using your joints to their full range of movement. So reaching up above your head to get something out of the cupboard or to put something away, making sure that you squat slowly and safely, ensuring that if you're twisting for anything, you are twisting gently, not to cause yourself any further injury. And very simply, when you're brushing your teeth, try and balance on one leg and then swap sides, and that's going to help with your coordination, your mobility, and your strength. They're very simple things to do. They're not hard. You can easily bring them into your everyday life. But if you feel that you are struggling with any of those things, the 7 signs that I've said, you could be struggling with your mobility, and therefore you need to do a little bit more to help you have a better life, especially as we age. Now, just remember, mobility can be improved. So if you feel like you have no mobility whatsoever, it can be improved by doing those simple exercises that I said before. But I will do another video in the next week or two. One of my workout videos will be a mobility workout, so that if you are struggling, you can just put on my 10-minute mobility workout, do that 2 or 3 times a week, and then you'll be able to feel your body changing and becoming a little bit easier to get through life. Let me know if you notice any of those 7 signs in you already, and if you are willing and are determined to change the habits that you have so that you can live a more fulfilled and happier and stronger life. Let me know in the comment box below. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you like the video, don't forget to hit that like and share, and as always, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss my future videos, and I will see you guys on the next one.